Most of us grew up reading and watching things that influenced us. So I'm very interested, what did you watch or what did you read when you were a kid?
I read everything. I read Jules Verne, H.G. Wells, Charles Dickens, Mark Twain, anything I could lay my hands on, you know, whatever. There weren't that many comic books. There was Flash Gordon, Dick Tracy, things like that. And as far as the movies, anything that Errol Flynn was in, Captain Blood, Mayor of Dodge City, whatever the hell city it was, Frankenstein, Dracula, King Kong, right, was a favorite of mine. You know, the usual.
Right. I had read quite a lot about the jobs that you had in your teenage years. I was wondering, when you fell into the job as interim editor for then Timely Comics, did all of these different jobs prepare you for that, or was it just the next thing that came along for you?
No preparation at all, because the jobs I had, I was an office boy, I was an errand boy, I was an usher, I wrote publicity for a hospital, and I wrote obituaries for a news service.
You wrote obituaries?
So none of it really was preparation.
And were you intimidated at all, or was this the break you were looking for?
I was too young to be intimidated. I didn't know it was a break. I didn't know it was a break. I think another job, you know, keep it for a while, because in those days, comic books didn't mean anything to anybody. It was a comic book job.
Right.
So, you know, I'll stay here for a while, get a little experience, then I'll get out into the real world.
After the Justice League of America, Marvel had to respond in some way. And it was right around the same time that it was reported that you thought about getting out of that business. And the comic superheroes that you came back with in response were very, very different.
Well, I didn't know I was doing anything that different. I just felt I'd like to do characters that were realistic. And it seemed to me, even if somebody had a superpower, he'd still be a human being. He'd still fall in love. He'd still be frustrated. Maybe he'd still have to go to the dentist, or have dandruff, or have an ingrown toenail. Or the girl he loves doesn't really care for him. Or he might have a relative who's sick that he has to take care of. I mean, just because you have a superpower doesn't mean that everything else in your life has to be good. So I thought it'd be more interesting to get people who seemed like real people who had superpowers. That's all I was thinking of.
The characters that you created had these very different superpowers and abilities. I was wondering if the powers and abilities that you gave your superheroes were ones that you wished that you had yourself.
I really don't think so. I mean, I never really projected myself in those characters. They were just things that I was making up. I mean, maybe subconsciously they were wish fulfillment. But I never said, I wish I could burst into flame and fly like the Torch, or I wish I could crawl on walls like Spider-Man. Those thoughts never really entered my mind.
Battlestar Galactica.
Batman. Serenity.
What was that? Highlander.
The Empire Strikes Back.
Doctor Who.
Star Trek The Next Generation was my favorite.
Scooby-Doo.
Well, at the moment, it would be True Blood.
True Blood.
True Blood. I have to say True Blood, too.
She-Ra.
Doctor Who.
Star Wars, Episode 4.
Firefly, without a doubt.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Joker, obviously.
Family Guy.
Good choice.